Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here today, even if it's only virtually. And I'm really an honor to be with you today. And I'd like to talk to you today about what I call committed, impactful partnerships. So just as a thought, I think that the idea of getting something done alone is almost out of the question, especially when you're in a startup situation. Now, it is possible when perhaps if you're an author and you're writing your own books, but even once you've written the book, to get it out to market and to have people be able to read it, you need partners. So I think that one of the first important things about committed partnerships is also your own sense of I need and I choose to have partners. And I think that one of the very important things about beginning a partnership is that a good and powerful partnership, comes from choice. It does not come from need. It may be the case that you need you need partners in general, but a specific partnership, whether you're getting married or whether you're starting a business with someone or whether you're going into a strategic arrangement with someone, that ought to come by choice. Because when partners come together because they need to, then the basis of the partnership doesn't have the same strength. So for me, I always say that marriage has been a good thing for me. I married, my wife and I are married now for 31 years. And we don't need each other. We choose to be together. I have very many partnerships that I'm involved in, and I don't need to be in any of them. I choose myself to be in them. And therefore, you bring yourself to the partnership from a completely different level, whereas as if you were to say, I need to be in that, otherwise I'm in trouble. So the idea of choice is one of the key ideas of a strong and impactful partnership to begin with. One of the next things which I very firmly believe is essential is that if you want to have a powerful partnership with someone and that you want to look for people, my mother had a great saying, which was, you bring a lot to the party, make sure you find someone else who brings a lot to the party. And what I mean by that is also that you believe that this person, that this company, that whoever it is you're partnering with, that you truly believe that they bring a lot to the party, that you think very highly of them, that you are proud to be in partnership with this person, with this company. And one of the important aspects of that is that you have to remember, and we all know this, a lot of what I'm saying today might sound like common sense, but there's a nice saying, which is common sense is not often common. But we all understand that when we're in a partnership, we want to be valued. I want somebody to think it's great to be in partnership with Andy. And what we also know is, just like anything that we do, there's going to be times where not both partners are happy. And there's also going to be times, and this is the most important things, when I myself doubt whether or not I'm the right person. We all have this feeling of, can I really do this? Am I really up to the task? And maybe something just happened which didn't go well at all. And I didn't get the kind of results that I was looking for. And I didn't produce what it was that I was hoping to produce. And in that moment, when things are not going well, what you really need is you need a partner whose vision for you is bigger than your vision for yourself. You see, because we all get lost along the way at some times when very difficult things happen. And what you're looking for in a partner is someone who says to you at that moment, hey, look, yes, it didn't go exactly right, but pick yourself up, brush yourself off, keep going. You are an expert in your field. Nothing works out perfectly all the time. You're the person, you're the one to do this. Get back up and get going. And and you want to have the same feeling for your partner. You want to be able to, when the chips are down, when things are not going the way you want them to, when that person has had a rough time of things, to remind them who they are. And in order to remind people who they are, you need to have a vision for them. Yeah, and people react to vision. Yeah, and people understand when you have a vision for them. And I'm sure you've all been in this situation, be it with a parent, be it with a child, be it with a friend, be it with a spouse, be it with a business partner, where somebody has said, I really love working with you because of X, Y, Z. And you're really able to do this beyond what other people do. This is what we're all looking for. And there are moments when all of us simply lose that vision. We don't know where we're going. And at that exact moment, you want to have and be inside of an impactful partnership where the person that you're dealing with knows who you are and is able to put you back on track. So, and the next thing that I wanted to bring up today is what I call water the tree. Yeah, and asking yourself, is your partner growing? Yeah. Do you believe that the partnership that you're in is actually good? Do you see that the person who you're in business with, do you see that the company that you're in business with is actually growing and flourishing and getting better and stronger? Or are they going backwards and it's not going the right way, in case maybe it's not the right partnership? Maybe it's not a partnership where you're building each other up. We all know there are partnerships where people break each other down. But in order to do that, you really have to take the time to water the tree, yeah, to make sure that you understand what's going on. And so what my strong advice to people, and by the way, in the programs of German Accelerator and all of the different programs that we run, we've brought over 750 startups through these programs in the last 10 plus years. All of them are in partnership. Yeah, they all have these kinds of challenges. They have these issues going on. Yeah, and what I often say to these people is, look, pay attention. Yeah, like, be honest with yourself. Are things going well or are things not going well? And what that means is sitting down, and whether it's on, I run most of my businesses that I'm involved in, where I'm actually in a leadership position, and on weekly meetings. If I have a weekly meeting, people know that they can get in touch with me and they can get the things that they need on a weekly basis. I have others where I meet them on a monthly basis, and others which are on a quarterly basis. Yeah, much more than quarterly starts to become highly ineffective. But when I say pay attention is, also to look here, to look in your heart and say, is this going in the right direction? Is my partner doing well? Are they growing? Yeah, and if you and not to just sort of say, oh yeah, everything's fine, we continue, everything's fine, but really to water the tree and take time. And what that leads to a very important piece of the puzzle, which again sounds very obvious, but is not that easy to do, which is listening. And really, I think we all have that sense, especially now in this crazy virtual world. Like one of the challenges I think we all have with this virtual is, I don't know if you're listening. I don't know who's listening right now. I don't know whether or not people are with me or not, because I can't see you, unfortunately. Yeah. But when we're in a partnership and when you're in relationship with someone and you're talking to them, you have the sense of whether or not somebody is listening, and is somebody hearing what it is that you're really saying. Yeah. And you want to make sure in your partnerships that you impart that to the other party, that they actually know genuinely that you are listening. Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean just hearing the good news. Yeah. Quite the opposite. It often means what's not working, even better if, what could we do to make this, to get to the next level? Yeah. And that's essential to having a partnership that is productive for everyone. And so when you start to put all of this together, where we start coming to is the question of, where is the partnership leading and how are you leading? Yeah. And so what I mean by that is, if you have a bigger vision for your partner than he or she has for him or herself, and if you are listening, and if you have that very strong sense of respect for the person and the company that you're dealing with, and you've chosen to be in the partnership, then you should be leading together. Yeah, it's not about, look how wonderful I am. Yeah, or, is this person getting me where I want to go? It's about, are we leading together? Do people truly get the sense that there's a team behind this? Yeah, or is it all about you? Yeah, all about you usually doesn't lead to long-term joy and enjoyment in a relationship, in a partnership, which is also incredibly important, right? I mean, why there's, everybody knows the saying, life's too short to drink bad wine. Yeah. Well, life's too short to be in bad partnerships. Why do that? Go find another one. Go find one where you are committed, where you are willing to listen, where you are willing to bring yourself to the story again and again and again. And what we're really talking about in the end here is, we're talking about whether or not are you committed to each other. Yeah, what is holding you together? And so, there's when I talk about partnership, I very often talk a lot about marriage, because I think that entrepreneurship and marriage are very similar. Yeah, they actually, when you stand next to the person you're going to marry, the rabbi or the priest or whoever it is who's marrying you says, do you take this person to be your lawfully wedded husband or wife? And then they give you the terms of the deal, which is for better or for worse, in sickness or in health, till death do you part. Now, is there anything unclear about that deal? Yes, like everything is unclear about that deal. You don't know anything about what's coming in the future. And yet you commit yourself to the relationship. Because you believe in the person, because you believe in the partnership. President Kennedy, when he was, John F. Kennedy, when he was talking about when the US made the decision to go to the moon, he said, we choose to go to the moon. And he actually quoted a poet, an Irish poet named Frank O'Connor, who said, when my friends and I were younger and we would walk across the orchard fields and we would come to a wall which was too high or too difficult to get over, we simply took our hats and threw them over the wall, and we had no choice but to follow. You see, and that's commitment. It's throwing your hat over the wall, saying, I believe in this person, I believe in this company, we're going to make something together, yeah, and I'm committed to the partnership. And that is what leads to real power and energy and excitement inside of a great relationship. And the last thing that I just wanted to talk about today is the idea of the larger goals. Yeah, I mean, here's the challenge. Like, if the goal of your partnership is to be in partnership, then you've already completed the goal. There's nothing, it's not based on anything, right? And I think that's what happens a lot in marriages. People say, oh, we're going to get married. Now we're married. Now what? Yeah. But it's also the same thing with a partnership. What is it that we're doing? So the question that I think you have to explore with your partners are, what are your larger goals? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Is it just you're trying to achieve a certain profit? Is it today? Very, very important. I think that, the fact that BlackRock, the largest investment company in the world, has said that if you don't have an impact strategy, we're not investing in you, should show all of us today that every single company needs to have an impact goal around it and needs to have a purpose. And if you look at the people who are going to come and work for you, right, they're looking for a purpose today, to be purpose-driven. So to ask yourselves that question together with your partners, and also even before you go into the arrangement, to make sure, are we lined up? Do we define success in the same way? If we achieve this, are we going to be excited about it? So I think I know I only had about 15 minutes, and I think I just used about 17 of them. So I just want to thank you all. I hope that some of the ideas that I brought forward today will be helpful for you. And I wish you all the best in coming from choice to create powerful, impactful partnerships going forward. And of course, if German entrepreneurship can be of help to you, we're good partners. So please do feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much for this opportunity.